wait, hold, because I'm showing him something. He goes, wait, hold on, because at the other place we're doing like this. He goes, all right, so what is comfortable for you then? I go, it's not, we're not either right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's what we show, but you have to make sense of it.
Yeah, especially when it happens right in front of you. You get to tell you which one's going to work right now.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
now.
I'll be like, oh wait, I didn't step right. Can we do that again?
Yeah.
Throw
Don't ask
another
for a
punch.
do-over.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love that he is now doing that. And that, now that he's gotten permission from both of us, he's just so excited and happy to be in both.
He's happy.
Yeah, it's funny. He goes, he was here on Tuesday with you. He comes to me on Wednesday, right? He goes, hey, last night, Greg from
The science, the root in school,
from Jasper's place. Jasper, you're awesome.
Oh, Guru Greg was here?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He was teaching something here. He goes, well, he said to do like this, and we were doing this. I said, okay, well, doesn't that look very familiar with what we're doing? We just have a different mentality. He goes, oh, yeah. I said, well, then, I guess we're all doing the same thing. 2 hands, 2 feet. Remember that, Eric?
Right.
And he realized, he goes, oh, it's the mentality that's behind everything that changes it. Even though they're the same thing, it's how you're looking at it, your perception of it. And he goes, and that's why it's all about you, not us.
I also think the when it comes to martial arts, and something we should probably talk more about is the fact that regardless of traditional or more new combative sport, it doesn't matter what system it is, the person teaching you, they're always going to add their own flavor to it. Whether they're teaching it the traditional way or not, they always have something about them, like their body type. I can move this way, so I'm comfortable with these more bouncy steps versus somebody who's a bit more heavy set. Like, oh, I have fast feet, but I'm stable.
Yeah.
Like, and it influences
Their teaching.
the emphasis of
no
what
doubt.
they teach, right?
doubt.
And I think that's what a lot of people miss is that, oh, I have to be like him. I have to look exactly like the grandmaster or the
That drives
teacher.
me nuts.
And that's such a folly because, like Eric is discovering now, it's what is your body able to do? What are you comfortable with? What works for you? And if we don't teach the students to even think that, and will they ever get there?
That's what it is. Like I have, I'm not the biggest person, but I have people that are taller than me, and they ask me how do I get down low. Like you got to ask someone that's taller than me. 'Cause I don't have that.
We know at least 2 guys that get really low.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I can give you some advice, but you need advice from someone that's your height too.
Right.
It's funny, he says that he's not tall. For a Filipino, he's tall.
Yeah. You're what,
You know.
5'7", 5'8"?
5'8", yeah.
Yeah. See,
I'm 5'9".
5'5",
Yeah,
3 1/4.
something.
3 1/4.
But for a Filipino, you're actually tall.
Yeah, you're pretty tall Filipino.
For a Filipino.
Are
But
you-
you're shorter on everybody else.
Are we sure
but-
your
Yeah.
dad's Filipino?
If I know, if I'm told that's my dad, yeah.
That's what I was told when I had understanding.
Well, what did the cable guy look like?
We didn't have cable back then. We just, you go to the big box and give cable to the whole neighborhood.
Oh,
yeah.
Back-
Channel 99 and 98.
Plead the fifth.
That's a little blink in and out.
You remember the channels? Oh my god.
Hey, man, that was leave me home alone. That's what happens.
Where are you on these events that have been going on, right? You put on some really good events. Do you remember back in the days when tournaments were really prevalent? They would be all over the place.
did you
every
join?
week.
You're talking like the 70s and 80s?
Yeah.
I was too young.
You weren't there.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
then-
right, you
Dude
only-
was born 84.
Because I guess it died
83.
down about 85 or so. It started down.
Yeah, and I was in Aikido, and you don't do tournaments in Aikido.
Really?
No, it's a non-competitive art.
Really?
That's why when people say, "Oh, I'm a black belt in Aikido and I won these tournaments," I'm like,
No,
Aikido translates as the art of peace. There's no tournaments, as far as I understand. But
So it's just 2 people bowing at each other for an hour.
who gave up first?
I won.
I'm just, come on.
Well, and the reason why I ask is because I've noticed that more and more nowadays, it's all about seminars.
Remember who you're talking to.
Yeah. Oh no.
Okay.
I know.
He's
Right?
He's my
More and more.
contemporary.
Seminars?
Yeah, it's more seminar oriented these days. You know,
Yeah.
people come in and bring somebody in, and they'll teach their craft. You know, that particular craft. Back in my days, though, 70s, 80s, it was all about the tournaments.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
You know, and I kind of miss that. One of our last guests was saying, you know, how do we bring that back? You know, and I don't know if it could come back. Not the way it used to be, anyways.
I don't see why it can't come back. I think it's pushed by popular culture. So if another movie comes out that pushes tournaments and like Cobra Kai, I'm sure Cobra Kai brought an influx of people coming in to learn karate and or martial arts as a whole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Karate
that's what
Kid
brought it out in
did
the
that.
80s. Yeah, when it first
Right.
came out in the
Yeah.
80s, Karate
Yeah.
Kid, that's when all the McDojos
Right?
started.
And then in the 60s and 70s, all the Kung Fu movies were out. That's why
Right.
Kung Fu was huge back in the day, too.
That is true.
Right? So, but now that FMA is becoming more on scene
Right.
and being more recognized in Hollywood.
That's
and
Well,
stuff.
yeah, it's becoming recognized. It's been there since the
Oh,
90s.
it's been there since
Even before
Bruce
that,
Lee's
yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Lee was learning FMA. And
Oh, that's right,
and
with
using it.
Inosanto, yeah.
That's correct. A
Nunchaku
lot of people
and
don't know
all
that.
yeah.
It was the ancient Chinese secret.
Yeah, learn
In
from
a
a
lot of the
Filipino.
old movies, yeah, learn from a Filipino. It really was though. If you go back and if you go back to the movies of the 70s, it was all the FMA people teaching, the likes of James Caan, rest in peace, all these actors. I mean, Bruce Lee was taught by FMA people, Inosanto, and I mean, even back when he was visiting Hawaii all the time with the Kaiji Kempo guys, he was really, still
yeah.
learning all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. That's been around forever.
Yeah.
It was just never recognized until Born Identity stuff came out.
Yeah.
You know what I
Essentially.
mean? That's when
Essentially.
FMA really blew up, and people actually gave it a name rather than Ancient Chinese Secret.
Yeah.
Filipino guy in the back. It's
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think they gave it a name. I just think, we're just military training.
Yeah. Courtesy Leo got it.
Well, that is military training,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Isn't
what
he
that's
an
what he
honorary
did.
colonel?
He was a
because-
colonel to become.
Oh,
yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In order to teach the
The military,
Marines,
they
yeah.
had to give him a rank.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought he was like in the military. That's why.
No.
No.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's why he wears fatigues all the time.
Yeah.
Things you learn, right? Well, because here's the thing about FMA that some of the older people don't like to admit is that a lot of them, at least from what I understand and talking to different people, they
Folks,
would-
remember, he's Mexican. So
yeah, I'm Mexican.
he's not supposed to know this
I'm
stuff.
not. This is the ancient Filipino secrets. There might be a chinela that flies through the screen and hits me for saying this, but
Chancla, yeah.
chancla for us. Thank you. I like the cultural. You understand? But a lot of the systems.
Get ready to throw
there-
this.
It's a size 4. I've been watching Joy Coy lately, so
He's coming to the town. I think in a couple weeks.
we're not promoting him unless he's paying us and giving us tickets. Sorry, we went off topic. Anyways, a lot of like the traditional FMA arts were born because somebody wanted to learn somebody's family thing, so they kind of integrated themselves into the family. They learned the art, and then they created a system to counter that art.
Pretty much.
And then so on and so forth. So then you have all these systems. Oh yeah, we do all this stuff, but really you just learned how to fight these 3 other families near you because you didn't want to lose in a death match.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I mean, how traditional can you say that is?
Well, if you wanted to survive, I mean, we're here today because our ancestors survived something back in the day.
Right.
Right. So whether they had to learn it, steal it, or train it, or just observe it and then
Yeah.
try to implement it, we're here today because of that.
And,
So
and
that is the
shouldn't
tradition.
I was gonna say
That is the
shouldn't that be the tradition?
That is the
then,
tradition,
right?
Yeah. That's why I believe FMA should, martial arts as a whole, I believe should always be evolving, modernizing, or whatnot.
Well, what do you say to those guys who say, when you come to my class, I want you to evolve this, but don't change anything?
I want you to what? Say it again?
They want you to evolve,
Evolve it, but don't change anything.
but don't change anything.
Right.
Isn't
The
it
moment-
oxymoronic?
I know, right?
Well, yeah, because the moment they do change something,
They
then
get
it's
back,
like,
yeah.
no, that's not right. You're supposed
You
to do
have
it
to
this
do it
way.
like this.
But how? Wait, huh?
All right. Well, I guess the only way to appease both sides would be, okay, I teach you the tradition, and I teach you where I can go.
Yeah. But
Well,
they,
that's a
they
good
frown
one,
on
yeah.
that. I mean,
Some people do. Yeah.
the bladed mind was made that way. My brother Danny, who created the bladed mind, trained under Doug Marcada for a year. And then they don't see each other because they're both in the military. They separate. Danny comes back home, and he, without Doug, just kind of figures out what would be next in this stuff that he learned. And then he created the bladed mind. He took out all the fluff
Nice.
and went to things that were going to make it right for him as
Yeah.
an individual. And then he gives it to me, and then I do what I do with it, and I give it to him. He does what he does with it, right?
Natural progression.
But we would get a lot of stink eye from the traditionalists. They're like,
old
what the
mono,
fuck
yeah.
you guys doing? Why are you doing that?
Hey,
why
you
are
should charge
showing
for that.
Yeah, you should charge for that,
I
right?
was like, that was beginner, like first class kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
that's our that's our first month worth of class. Goes, no, you shouldn't be doing that. It's like, what? This is
This is my house. That's your house. Do what you
yeah,
want.
but again, but they would
Yeah.
look at you like
Yeah.
that isn't something you should be showing. Oh, you shouldn't be teaching that.
Have you gotten any of that?
Not openly.
Really?
Not openly.
Yeah.
No. I mean, probably behind my back, but it's behind my back. I don't really care.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love his attitude.
I mean, there's always gonna be haters that always
Yeah,
say
That's true.
you should do it this way, you should do it that way. That's fine. Then you do it that way over there.
Yeah.
I'll do it this way over here.
Yeah.
Just be happy with what you decide to do.
Yeah, but it's not working for me over there, so I want to come here and get in your face about it.
Yeah. But and I think that was the biggest conflict because even within their own schools or within their own tribes, right? You hear the Cañete family. I mean, how they all almost try to kill each other because they thought theirs was superior to the brother and whatever else.
happens,
And same thing, I mean, there was, like I said, in FMA, there's a lot of infighting, and nobody could ever. I mean, even Pikiti, in its infinite wisdom, there was a lot of things going on in there.
My understanding, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I mean, Leo used to write letters to tell you, oh, this guy's no longer with my group, and it was like, wow, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
I've
people were
heard of those
excommunicated,
things,
Right?
yeah.
Like, why would you do that? Because all you're doing is blasting yourself as well. And that's a weird thing, right? But again, because Filipinos are the way they are, and I'm Filipino, folks, I can say this. But they get so caught up in their own BS that you see it becomes so detrimental within the Filipino culture, I think.
Yeah, it's just ego. I think it's just human ego.
Yeah.
I look at it as if a teacher starts bad mouthing their student, that's almost to me like a father talking bad about their kids.
Right.
It's like,
Oh crap!
Yeah.
it's the same.
No, nothing.
I'm not being proud about it because you didn't do it my way. Like, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's a hard lesson to learn because you're right. You're the guy, right? You take care of them, and then all of a sudden they want to do it their own way. You're like, no. Well, you kind of have to pull back and be like, wait. They gotta learn too.
yeah, they got to learn to live their life because we're gonna die first. Well, at least that should be the progression.
Hopefully,
right?
yeah,
Hopefully, right?
hopefully. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it's almost scary because when you as a student try to where you're trying to grow because of what you're being taught, right? Let's say one of your students, you give them everything you can, you get them to a good point, and then you as the student decide, oh, I like this idea, or my body can do it this way better. And they start changing it, and it seems to work fine. But
Chastise
you as the head guy should be saying, "Oh, that's great. I like that idea. Let's bring that to everybody." But yet, in the traditional way, they're like, "No, that's wrong. Get out."
Yeah, I mean, that's how they want to run things. That's how they run things. I mean, I have a lot of people that cross train in many different things, right? Not just FMA, but all the other styles, whatnot. It's like, hey, that's great, right? But just please do me a favor that when we're helping out someone that's starting off here, always remember the base model.
Yes.
You can show them where it goes, but they have to know the base model, and then we just go from there.
Definitely.
Because everyone's built differently.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point that you made because even with us, the first 5-6 months is all about the traditional stuff in that you get the basic understanding of your right angles and this and that. But once they get that to a proficient point, you can say, okay, now start thinking how you would do this in your own head and not the way,
Because I want to get your opinion on this. At what point is it too much to do like the same movements before they start getting into a habit of moving a certain way? And then you give them a concept and it's like, oh wait, but you told us to do it this way. Now this concept kind of contradicts the movement. Like
So-
how do you stop that from happening?
Well, I think what it is you have to be able to do something enough so you can't get it wrong.
Okay.
Right, enough repetition, but you also have the understanding that the main goal of Filipino martial arts is to be able to flow with whatever happens and go with whatever happens, right? Like in life, you can have plan A, but if plan A doesn't work, you better have plan B and C set up or be able to go to plan B and C.
Right.
Same thing with martial arts. Like you're gonna learn A, but have B and C and D as backups just in case.
You know,
I like that.
again, you're always surprising the shit out of me by the way you're talking. Only look, but
No, it's squeaking, bro.
Yeah,
It's getting
it
annoying.
surprises me because you're not talking the traditional Filipino martial arts instructor.
But he's talking a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, a lot of wisdom. But I love that because again, it's refreshing to hear this from a young guy like you talk this way. You almost sound like you're
A wise old man.
yeah, wise old man,
Thanks.
right? Just because of the things that you're saying. I mean, like I said, I don't hear this from the elders. You know, and that's refreshing. I love that. You know, like I said, if you're the youth of FMA and you're going to bring it to where you go the way you are, we're not in any trouble at all whatsoever. In the past, I would have thought we were, because I used to think that the Filipino culture is losing its fighting style. I mean, everybody outside of the Philippines is knowing more FMA than we do.
That's true.
Yeah,
right?
Europe.
I mean, you know, the Spetsnaz are using FMA. It's crazy,
That's
right?
true.
And that's in Russia.
Yeah. The military and law enforcement
Right.
in the world uses it.
Yeah, right. I mean, you got Daniel
Brazil,
Floretta is
you
out there
have,
teaching it, right?
South America, yeah.
You know, you have a gentleman by the name of Bill McGrath, who's an American, learned under Leo Gahe. I mean, his
Student,
top
right?
guy. But
Sharp
he's
as
bringing
hell.
it. Yeah, he's bringing it out to the world. But yet, in the Filipino culture, everybody's so no, you can't show that. You can't. You know, it's like. You know, I think it's dying in the Philippines, but thriving everywhere else.
Yeah.
And that's a weird thing to have to say.
Was it ever a big thing in the Philippines though? Because I've
No.
asked a lot of Filipinos, and
Yeah,
they're like,
they don't know
"What is
what is
that?
that?" Yeah,
was that
true.
the thing with the sticks?"
Yeah.
Or that Filipino karate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Filipino
I
karate.
hear that here. Like, not Filipino karate, it's Filipino martial arts.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
read the board.
Yeah. God damn it. Read this thing. But you're absolutely right, though. It's weird to find out that a lot of people in the because I visited when I was 27, right, for the very first time, and I was asking around. Nobody knew what it was. You know, the bar that I was from, they're like, "Oh, what's
Yeah.
that?" You know, "Oh, I kind of know what. Oh, is that this and that?" I'm like, "Okay, take me to one of the karate schools here." And I go over there and like, "Hey, do you guys?" You know, he goes, "Oh no, you have to go to this. You know, you have to go way out in the province somewhere to
Or
learn
to a
that."
park or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Luneta Park.
Parking lot.
Yeah, that's where we all get our start. I was actually in the park. I was over in Dolger Park.
Okay,
when I
okay,
first
yeah.
started teaching.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that's what it was. You could never find an actual school, you know, in the Philippines.
right.
You know, and it's funny. There's a good friend of mine over there by the name of Buddy. Can't pronounce his last name.
Not a good friend then, no.
Arsenis. No, it's Arsenis. I believe
He's
it is.
terrible with names.
Yeah,
period.
I
like
know,
I'm
yeah.
surprised you got Joseph right.
Yeah, but he calls his school a club, a social.
I've heard
club,
that too, yeah.
rather than calling it
Yeah.
an actual school, you know, or an FMA school, because the emphasis would then it's be more of a social meeting rather than a martial arts thing. Yeah, I mean, again, they you know these younger guys are trying to just break away from tradition, and they're having a hard time with it though.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
especially over there.
yeah, I can totally see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah, I'm just so impressed with what you're doing. I mean, you've only been here since June, you said?
Yeah, but you know, I've been
Teaching for.
I've been teaching. Well, I've been in Filipino martial arts for 21 years now,
Yeah.
but I've
Jeez.
been teaching it since '09.
Right.
Oh wow. So
When did you get involved with? I'm sorry. When did you get involved with Castro?
Oh, so I come from a lineage of Escabraan and Visayan sa Cortocadena.
oh shit, really?
Yeah. So my stepfather is the one that introduced me to everything. So my stepfather knew that I was trying to find a martial arts to train in.
Right.
Right. And he's from the Philippines, and he didn't learn Filipino martial arts till he was here.
See.
Right. So he was actually training with Grandmaster Robert Castro and Maestro Sonny Umbot at the same exact time.
Wow.
So he would go from one class, he would go from Alameda to San Francisco to Alameda.
Right.
And then he'd come home and he'd say, "Hey, I want to practice something." So he would use me. So for 2 years, I was just practicing under him, not knowing what was what, and just, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, whatever
He
you want
was
me
just
to
a
do.
test dummy.
basically, yeah. He would hit me and throw me, whatever. Like, okay, yeah.
Dude, that's a great spot to be in for you.
Dude, oh my
yeah.
God,
So if you think about it,
yeah.
I, as a third generation Filipino American, am coming from two Filipino American martial arts.
Right.
because they themselves are hybrids in themselves.
Yeah,
So it's a hybrid of a
yeah,
hybrid
definitely.
now.
Yeah, Sonny Umpat's, dude.
Yeah.
Legendary.
No one can move like him.
No.
Yeah, he was.
Although Jasper is pretty.
He's
accurate.
very
Hey,
damn
Greg,
close.
yeah, Hey, Greg, yeah,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
doubt, no doubt. So, yeah, so my stepfather was like, okay, I really want you to start training in one of them, right? I go, well, I only have time for one. I was working full time, going to school full time.
Right.
Like, I only got time for one. I can't go to both, right? And so he brought me to the garage one night at Grandmaster Robert Castro's, and I saw the Goontings for the first time, right? 'Cause remember, I was scared of boxers as a kid,
Right.
so that's what set me to learn and train in other different arts.
Right.
But every time I was going to different arts, I was like, something doesn't feel right, right? Like when in doing like Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu, it's like there's always gonna be someone bigger than me, always someone better than me, about multiple people. Or
Yeah, weight
what if
class
I'm injured?
really makes
yeah,
a
it's like
difference, yeah.
you know, and there's always this void, right? It was all great to train, no doubt, but learning the Goontings, learning the concept of defanging the snake, like that makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah, why am I going to avoid the punch? I just destroy it.
Right?
Move on to-
Exactly, because at first I was learning all the weapon stuff. Like, yeah, it's great, it's fun, you know, like I get it, but I'm not going to be walking around with a stick or a knife all the time.
Exactly.
Right? But then when I learned the empty hands,
Right.
it made sense to me. Like, okay, everything can translate. It's like now you carry a knife and a pen and flashlight, whatever, right? But
Right.
that's when everything clicked. So that was 21 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, you were what, 18?
I started, so my stepfather started training me when I was 18.
Okay.
I officially started in FMA 2 days after my 20th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah,
2 days after.
2 days after my 20th birthday.
And that was with Castro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When did you go? Did you ever train with Sonny?
No, I did not, because I'm the type of person that I have to focus on one thing at a time.
Oh, okay.
And then by the time I got my bearings and base with Escabo, Master Sonny Umpa wasn't in the best of health.
Right. Yeah.
So I lost my chance.
You had to know somebody just to get in the door anyway, so.
Yeah, he was hard to get into if you didn't know.
Oh, but my stepfather was there.
Yeah,
Like, I've been to his house, I've met him.
So
you know.
you,
Oh,
you were,
okay.
yeah,
I never got the chance
The
to
dark,
touch.
smoky living room.
Well, actually, it's kind of funny because when I first walked into his house, right, I saw, when you walk into this door, you see these little vase of, looks like flowers, right? So you walk in, and on the way out, after hanging out, we walked out. I go, it's kind of funny, it's kind of odd. He goes, what? You know, Master Sonny Umpad. I go, well, you have all these weapons on the wall, all these weapons everywhere. You are who you are. We have flowers right here. He pulls it out, and they're throwing darts. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense to me now. They're throwing darts. Like, okay, makes more sense to me. Yeah, so he had weapons literally everywhere.
That's funny. Wow.
Little throwing darts.
I'm gonna have to get some
He's
of
the
those.
martial artist version of a cat lady. Just knives everywhere, weapons everywhere.
Did you ever get to train in Sonny Umpad stuff with Jasper and these guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, he said he was both.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I know he did both.
So I
I'm
mainly
just
trained
curious.
with my stepfather.
Okay.
Right, first and foremost.
So he was teaching you.
Yes, and still does to this day. And through the years, anytime I could be able to train with either Greg or Jay, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Right. I've had much more success and luck with being able to train with Jay because I lived in San Francisco, he was working in San Francisco, and we would do things together with the kids. So it was just we had all this time together, right? But the thing is, I knew about those guys before they knew me, before I met them, because I was watching their videos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They've been doing videos for
Yeah,
a
because
while.
they videoed
Yeah,
everything,
yeah,
VHS,
yeah.
they videotaped everything.
Yeah.
And so I was watching all these videos of these guys, and then when I met them, like, I know who you are.
That's cool.
Hey, you're the guy. You're
Yeah,
taller
you're the
on
guy.
TV.
Yeah, so I've known him for some time.
Yeah,
That's
he's.
crazy.
We love Jay. He's super nice guy. Super respectful. Just one of the coolest guys you're ever going to meet. And just the way he sees, the way he sees the martial arts, it's amazing. And I love that he gets to go everywhere in the world.
He's in Detroit right now.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
Detroit. Yeah.
He's in Detroit right now.
Oh, which brings we were we had Jess Santiago on our show
Oh yeah.
a little while back, and we were sad to hear that he got robbed
we were at a
before
bar.
he got out here. But I was like, God, what makes that more interesting is because when he came to us to our facility, he had his case with him, his equipment and stuff. He goes, yeah, I was told you can't leave this stuff in your car. I said, okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right. So he brought it with him. And then to hear that happen, I'm like,
Yeah.
did he leave it in
On
the
his
car?
last day.
Left it
yeah.
in his trunk. Yeah.
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 That sucks.
Yeah, it happens.
My nephew, who was doing photography also, was in.
Yeah.
He was in. Was it Alameda or Oakland? Somewhere in Oakland. He was
Yeah.
doing a wedding for these gangster rapper guys. I mean, big names, right? And right when he's done, 2 cars block him, and they take a shit.
Yeah.
It was sucked.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That happens.
So I was like, yeah, don't leave the shit in your car. And then when I
Even
heard
when
that-
you're driving.
even when you're driving, yeah. But when I heard about, Jesse, I'm like, damn, that sucks. It's exactly the same shit. It's like, so, I mean, and I remember, and this is why, I made sure that we didn't watch an episode that Jesse interviewed you. Because it was all out on YouTube and everything. I was tempted to watch it, but I realized, no, wait, I can't watch this because it's gonna mess up what we would do with you
Oh, got it,
and
got it,
talking,
got it.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this conversation just happened.
yeah, we
Little.
didn't want to have any influence from what Jesse did, and but I love the guy. He's a really super chill guy.
Oh, yeah, no
I mean,
doubt.
just even when he was talking, it was like just really like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
he was just having a good old time. And his Balintawak skills are incredible.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's no joke.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun talking to him. So I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to make sure that I didn't watch it, and I made sure he didn't watch because I didn't even tell him that it was on. Did you know it was out?
Yeah.
That he had an interview?
Yeah.
You didn't watch it, right?
No.
Good man. See?
Otherwise,
Because
I
we-
would have asked him about that. Never mind.
About